All right, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun mobility class today. It's gonna be a slightly different, but hopefully you enjoy it. Blow close to you, blanket. So go ahead and take a sit. Just for starters, as usual, go ahead and place your hands on top of your knees. And for today's purpose, once you're sitting, see if you can make yourself a little bit taller. So try and sit on your seat bones if you can. Sometimes to kind of find this nice place, you can actually just remove the flesh underneath your sitting bones and kind of find the nice kind of a steady throne if you wish. Think about a strong back and a soft chest. Start bringing your awareness to your breath. Start settling into the space, into your mat, into your practice. On the next inhale, I want you to inhale all the way up to your collarbones. And audible exhale. One more like this. Inhale, full capacity. Make your collarbones wider. And audible exhale. Come back to your normal breath. We're gonna do a quick pranayama exercise today. We're gonna work on samabriti, which means square breathing or square ratio breathing. And what we're gonna do is we're going to inhale in 4 counts. We're gonna hold full in 4 counts. We're gonna exhale in 4 counts, and we're gonna hold empty for 4. So I'm gonna take you through that, but before we get into the square breathing, just make sure that you go back to your normal breath. On the next inhale, get prepared. We're gonna inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold full for 1, 2, 3, 4. Empty 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty 1, 2, 3, 4. One more round. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Come back to your normal breath. What we did is control the timing of the breath. and that gives us a sense of balance. So we are inhaling and exhaling through the same length. We're going to do one more round like this. So get prepared and inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold full for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty for 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exhale, empty completely. Come back to your breath and go ahead and open your eyes. I hope that that was interesting, just to kind of start giving you a pattern of how the breath is today. And we're just gonna lay down to work on the lower back a little bit, and then we will get straight to it. So make your way to your back and go ahead and hug your knees. Bring your knees towards your chest. Place your hands on your knees and start drawing some circles with your knees. I want you to kind of use the breath as well. So once you bring your knees closer to your chest, use the inhale, and when they are slightly far, use the exhale. So see if you can use movement and breath here. So inhaling and exhaling. And just change direction to the other way. Remember to work with your breath. And come back to center. Just we're gonna take our recline pigeon. So bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. Go ahead and grab the back of the left leg. And this is already a good starting point for the hip mobility that we were talking about. So just gonna start finding a little bit more of space. The right hip, the right leg. Keep using the breath here. Just very gently change your leg. So now it's the left leg on top of your right knee, your right leg. Keep stretching. Find that breath. Find a space in the left hip. And come back to center. We're gonna take happy baby. So bring your toes, grab your toes if you can. And start widening here the lower back. If this feels too challenging, as usual, you can place your hands, your inner thighs, and use this moment to start kind of realizing, do you have any tightness on your hips? Is there any discomfort? Start maybe just taking note of what do you feel here in this pose. Keep breathing. And release. We're gonna start already rocking forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. And find your tabletop position. So find your tabletop. We're gonna take a couple of rounds of cat and cow. As usual, wrists and shoulders aligned, hips and knees aligned. So make sure that your legs are hip width distance apart and your hands shoulder width distance apart. From here, press through the top of the feet and inhale, look forward, arch your back, bring your tailbone to the ceiling. And on the exhale, press away. Curve your spine, navel to spine. Inhale, look forward. And on the exhale, press away. Think about your lower back, your middle back, and your upper back here. Curving. One more like this. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, press away. Work with the hands. Can you press the mat? Can you kind of find a spot in your shoulder blades? And come back to center. From here, we're gonna take a very wide child's pose. So can you, first of all, bring your toes together and bring your knees kind of like mat with distance apart, so quite wide. And we're gonna start finding our way to child's pose. But you can see this is a very wide child's pose that we're doing here. Start dropping your forehead on the mat. And again, we're starting to release here any tension on the hips. Keep breathing here. Can you breathe from the top of your head to your tailbone? Can you make the breath slightly longer? Can you make your spine slightly longer? If you feel the hips kind of stretching the muscle here, the joints, send the breath there as well. Send the breath on the exhale. See if we can help that tightness soften. on the legs. Inhale, come up to your seated position. So we're gonna take our first kind of mobility exercise. I'm just gonna move my things so you can see me. But we're gonna work on what we call the windmill. So basically what you want is you want to find both legs in this kind of 90 degrees angle, so both front and back. And from here, what we're gonna do without using the hands is we're gonna try and change the legs. So we're just changing the legs. Maybe if you wanna take a look and try, give it a go. So just a little bit of a tip, think about the back leg. So the back leg is the one who opens, so kind of opens there, and then the back leg helps you close. Just play around, see what's your range of motions. Everyone is gonna be different. So you might find that is easy, maybe it's sticky in one side, maybe the other side is perfectly great. See what is there for you. Very good. Keep doing that. Keep finding that spot. Very good. Keep finding any sticky points. Very good. Very good. Now we're gonna all end up to our right side. So wherever you are, find the place where your right leg is in front. So your right leg is in front. And from here, what I want you to do is I want you to think about the left leg. And the left knee is gonna try and hover an inch from the floor and drop. An inch from the floor and drop. Just see what happens. Again, you can have the hands wherever it feels. Maybe you want to place them on the floor. Perhaps you want to place it in your right leg. But the purpose is to lift the left knee. So here we go. Just give it a try. Hover a bit and back. Even if it's 1 centimeter, just find that muscle. Recruit the muscle that is making even the movement a little bit. Think about the left knee. Think about the left knee. One last time. Even if it's 1 centimeter, just drive through those muscles and release. Give maybe a little bit of a pad. And we're gonna now change legs. So just change the legs as we were doing before. Now is the right knee on the back, left leg here on the front of the mat, and we're gonna do the same. So think about the right knee lifting, even if it's a slightly centimeter. Can you make the hip? Can you make the knee? Very good, Sarah. Very good. Keep going. Don't use your hands. Can you maybe bring your hands to your chest? All the movement is on your hip, in your muscles. Maybe you want to squeeze a little bit the glute as well and see what happens. I'm sure you're already sweating at this point. Very good. Ella, just give me a shout out if you need any help or anything. Just keep going. Very good. One more time like this. And very good. We're gonna release. Just maybe wiggle your legs a little bit. And we're gonna take our second CARS exercise now. So I'm just gonna start. Just go ahead and lay on your mat. And maybe let's start with the left arm onto the mat here. And what I want you to do, maybe just you want to take a look. We want to have maybe one arm here, or maybe just like this, or maybe like this. Just you need to find a pose, like a position that works for you. Now, what we're gonna work on is obviously on the right leg. So from here, we're gonna try and articulate the rotation. So we're gonna work with our range of motion with the hip joint. For this, what we're gonna do is the following. So bring your knee towards your chest as much as you can. Maybe the right hand drops in the mat here. From here, we're gonna externally rotate the leg. Very good. Once we get here, we're gonna start internally rotating the leg. So think about sending your right heel to the back of the room. And we're gonna go all the way up, all the way back as much as we can here. When we can no more, we're gonna bring it all the way to touch with the other leg. And we're gonna do the same now, opposite way. So now we're gonna start by flexing the leg, flexing the knee. We're gonna start driving back, so all the way back here. We're gonna start externally rotating as we did before. And now we're gonna start internally rotating all the way forward and back to where we started. Very good. We're gonna do that 2 more rounds. So let's get with that. So knee towards the chest first. I'm gonna externally rotate. Internally rotating. Bring all the way back so that you feel that already in your hip. And then all the way to starting point. One more like this. All the way back. There we go. Start here externally rotating that leg. All the way back. Internally rotating here. And knees together. One last time and we do the other leg. So forward. Externally rotating the hip. Send it back. Internally rotating here. Be strong on your core as well and back to where we started. One more time like this. Find the back of the room. Start opening your hip. All the way forward. Closing this leg. And we did this side. I change sides now, so just find your way to the other side. Here we go. So let's do the same. So your left knee close to your chest. We're gonna start externally opening. We're gonna start internally rotating to the back of the room and all the way to where we started. Starting back. Start opening the hip joint here. And now we're gonna start closing the hip joint. So that's round 1. We have 2 more rounds. We can do it. So knees to chest. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Can you find a little bit more space there in the back? And come back to center. Back of the room. Think about making this movement from the hips. So if you're not feeling the hip joints, if you're not feeling, think about what else you should be doing. I'm sure you feel it though. One more like this. Forward. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Come back. One more like this. Think about the back of the room. Press that kind of heel against your glute. Think about opening a little bit more here. And see if you can bring a little bit more closer to the chest, your knee. Find that compression too. And back to center. I think we did 3 rounds, if I didn't miscount it. So very good. We're gonna go into our cat and cow very quickly to tabletop, and we're gonna take a couple of rounds of downward facing dog. So go ahead and find your downward facing dog. Meanwhile, I fix my mic as usual. There we go. So hands to knees. Start tucking your toes, lift your hips, bend your knees, and find your downward facing dog. Use this pose today to find the length. How do you feel in your hips now? Do you feel anything in the legs? Start pedaling your legs as well to start finding a little bit more of freedom, a little bit more of a space. Press through the hands. Bring your hips as close as to the ceiling as you can and keep those knees bent. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. We're gonna start moving our legs a little bit more. So from here, your right leg rises up and right leg finds the outside of right hand. Drop your left knee, drop your left hand, go ahead and open and twist towards your right side. You know this. If you haven't yet, drop the left knee onto the mat. Use this to create a bit more of a space on your right hip. Keep breathing in. Both hands meet the mat. Again, we're gonna find our pyramid pose. We do it always. So this is a great stretching moment. So go ahead and straighten both of the legs. Start folding on the front leg. If this feels challenging, remember that you can bend your knees. Keep breathing in. Find a nice stretch, a nice length. From here, we're gonna do slightly something different today. So drop your left knee onto the mat, and we're gonna find our lunge position. Okay, we're gonna start moving forwards and back, forwards and back. Just want to release any tension on the hip. The next time when you go back, stay there. So send your hip back. Go ahead and peel your toes. Very good. Start melting on top of the right leg. Your right knee can be bent if this feels too tight, or it could be straight. Very important thing, send the hips to the back of the room. Very good. So foot to the mat, both hands find the inside of the right foot, and go ahead and find your downward facing dog from here. Find your downward dog. This time, find a little bit of a steadiness in the pose. So keep your knees bent. Keep driving through the hips here. We're gonna take 10 breaths for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your left leg rises up and left leg finds the outside of your left hand. Right knee, right hand on the mat. Go ahead and open and twist towards your left. Remember, can you make that space on the left leg, on the left hip? What else it needs? Keep breathing here. See if you can breathe through both sides of your torso. Both hands to the mat. Go ahead and find your pyramid pose. So straighten both of the legs, send your hips back here. Start folding on top of the left leg. You can always bend the front knee or the back knee if you need. We are finding a fold. Maybe bring your left foot a little bit closer, and we're going to start moving forwards and back and finding our Anjaneyasana, our lunge. But just we want a little bit of movement here. On the next time that your hips go back to the room, stay there. So send the hips back to the room and start peeling the left toes and fold on top of your left leg. Both hands to the mat, inside the left foot, and go ahead and find your downward facing dog from here. We're gonna take 5 breaths in downward dog. Find the length through both sides of your waist. Find a space. Can you bring your hips higher? Can you make a little bit more of a space on the shoulders? Can you make your arms longer? Are you pressing through the right thumb? So just giving you a few points here. We're gonna make our way to the front of the mat, but we're gonna take 10 steps. So I'm gonna kind of show you, I don't know if we ever done it before, but we're gonna take 10 steps. What I want you to do is I want you to find the left on the hip. So count for 9. Maybe you wanna take a little look, just to kind of understand the movement. So we're gonna bring the right heel here. So for 9, kind of make the space. 8, 7, make a space. 6. If you need to bend your knees, that's fine. 5, 4, 3, 2. Bend your knees whenever you need. And 1, we're gonna find our forward fold. So go ahead and forward on your thighs. So your feet should be hip width distance apart here. Go ahead and grab opposite elbow. And maybe use this to move side to side. Find a little bit of the movement here. Keep your knees bent. Very gently, we're gonna start peeling our spine all the way to standing. Very good. So from here, we're gonna work on hip mobility and balance together. So the first thing I wanted to mention is give it a go, see where you're at, and two very important things. So for the exercise that we're gonna do now, for the pose, or the kind of flow part that we're gonna do, 2 points to keep in mind. Use the hands on your chest to find the balance. Keep a gaze on something. So find a steady point. And I'm going to talk you through in a second, but I just want you to kind of remind you of this. So use the hands for the kind of more balance part that you need, and find that gaze. And the other thing is, remember the hips. So we are working towards hips. So the hips are going to be guiding you through this exercise, through this pose. So come to the top of the mat. It's gonna be a lot of challenge involved, a lot of balance, but we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna see where we at. There's not requirement, there's no expectation. So let's work on that. For a second, go ahead and find your mountain pose. Just to start getting that connection through the sole of the feet. Close your eyes for a second. Open your chest, open your heart here. Make yourself available, make yourself open to the journey that we have ahead. Couple of breaths. Once you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. What we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna bring our knees to chest. So bring your right knee towards your chest. Then we're gonna open this knee, and it doesn't matter the height. So you could be doing it here, and that is completely fine. You could be doing it here, and that's completely fine. What I want is, I want this hip rotation. So first of all, knee on top of you, front of you. Go ahead and open to the side. Now, what we're gonna do from here is, we're gonna start leaning. We're gonna start bending the front leg, and we're gonna start tilting our hip to the right. And we're gonna come back. So play with your hands if you need. Push through the hips here. Push through the hands towards your chest. Give it a go. Try a few times. So front of you. Open to the side. Bend the front knee. Send the back leg to the back of your window. Start finding the openness to the right side. Give it a go. One more like this. Knee to the chest. Open to the side. Front knee bend. Start finding a little bit more of that openness in the hip towards your right side. Very good. And come back to center. So as you can see, balance is challenging, but we get there. We're gonna do one more thing in the same pose. We're gonna start bringing a little bit more of challenge. Wherever you are is fine. Take your time. So right knee towards your chest. Start opening right leg. From here, we're gonna start leaning forward as we've been doing. Lean on your hands. And what I want you to do now is, I want you to touch the floor with the left hand. Just touch the floor and make it all the way back in one piece if you can. Very good. It's very challenging. Very good. Okay, we're gonna do the other leg. So your left leg, it could be that one leg is better than the other. Definitely my left leg is terrible, so I'm gonna struggle as well. So we're gonna all struggle together. So from here, go ahead and open your right leg to the side. Start bending the front knee. Send your leg back. Start opening and twisting towards the left. Keep your weight, keep your thumbs close to your chest here. And bring all the way back. Very good. Very good. One more time like this. Knee to the chest. Open to the left side. Start tilting forward. Bend the front knee. Start opening towards the left side. Control. Think about a point that give you balance. And come back to center. One more time. Here we go. We do it 3 on the row. This time we're gonna touch the floor. So inhale, knee to the chest. Open to the side. Start leaning, bend the front knee. Straighten your back leg. If you can, keep the focus. Now I want you to touch the floor with the right hand. And come back to center. Wow, shake everything. Shake your legs. Shake your hands. This is definitely challenging. Now, we're gonna go a little bit more. We can do it. Find a block. Find your book. Find your block. Find your book. Wherever you are, think about yourself standing in kind of the middle of the mat and bring the block to the middle of the mat. So think more or less what I have it there. Put the block in the kind of highest setting possible. And if you guess it, you're right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same. I'm just gonna show you once to give you that kind of starting point. But hopefully I'm gonna not fall in the floor now. But inhale, knee to chest, knee to the side. Now what I want you to do is I want you to place your hand here if you can. And then we're gonna find our half moon pose. So give it a go. Let's do it. So see also where maybe the block or the book needs to be moved, but you will know once you get there. So hopefully in the middle of the mat will do. So let's do it. Inhale, knees to chest. Open right knee. We're gonna do the same as we did it before. Start leaning forward. Send the knee, the leg to the back. Now this time, place your left hand onto the book. If you need to book the book, move a little, that's fine. We're gonna start opening the rib cage now towards the right side. We're gonna find our half moon here. Squeeze your glute, specifically your left glute. Keep breathing here. If you fall, go give it another go. Keep breathing and very gently make your way back. Give it another go. I'll wait for you. Send the leg back. Use the hands to give you that balance. Very good. Whenever you are, find a book. Find a book with one hand and open. Very good. We're gonna do the other side, so you still have a few more choices here, a few more opportunities. Maybe this will help. Maybe this time we're gonna move the block slightly to the right side, because I had to move it myself manually. So see where also the kind of block and book fits most with your proportions. So you might find a point that you need to move it. But let's give it a go. Let's see where we are. So find yourself kind of in the middle of the mat. We're gonna take this with the left. So one more inhale, knees to the chest. Let's do it. Start leaning forward. Start opening already here to the left and find the block, the book. Find your Ardha Chandrasana. You have movement. Squeeze your right leg, squeeze your right glute. If you can, keep the balance, keep the focus. It's very hard, as you can see, I'm wobbling too. And very gently make your way back. We're gonna do it one more time. Keep going, very good. Now start peeling through the ribs. Let's do it again. One more time. Knees to the chest, start opening to the left. Think about the weight in your right toe, in your right big toe. See if that makes a difference. Start leaning forward. Use the hands to keep and help you with the balance here. Wherever you're ready, find your right hand onto the block, onto the book. Left side is very challenging for me. You're gonna start peeling through the left side of your rib cage. Find that point, that gaze that gives you stability, and very gently make your way back. This is hard, guys. Well done. You can, of course, practice this whenever you want. This gives you a little bit of space to work on as well. We're gonna do one more thing and we're gonna take our Shavasana soon. So just one more thing to work on our hips. And again, take this and see what works for you. We're gonna take our passive squat. So if you are familiar with the squatting and you're comfortable doing so go ahead and find your squat. If this is challenging, oh, very good. Okay, great. If this is challenging somehow, I was gonna suggest you can always place your book underneath your bum, and that will help you with the squat. If you're familiar with the squat, I want you just to move side to side in your squat here. Your heels should be touching the floor. If they don't touch, the first thing I will say is that make a little bit more of a space. So open your legs more, because that could be why. If you're comfortable in the squat, what I want you to do here now is just bring your hands onto your heart center. Place your elbows each side of the leg and use your kind of the strength of your hands and your arms to kind of find a little bit more of openness. Here, we're gonna stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Place your hands on the mat and use this moment to stretch. Maybe we want to find a quick downward dog here. So find a quick downward dog just to reset, to find some symmetry. Take a couple of breaths here. And from your downward dog, we're going to find our seated position. And we're going to make our way to our backs, because we're almost there. Find your way to your back. Here, I'm gonna stretch a little bit and take our Shavasana. So from here, bring your knees towards your chest, and this time let them drop to your right side to find here your supine twist. Go ahead and find a T position with your arms, palms facing downwards. Very good. Today was a challenging class. Very good for committing, for showing up, for testing yourself, for playing along. Probably you find your heartbeat fast. Start softening the breath. Start finding kind of longer breath. Let yourself melt against the mat. Bring your knees towards the center. Just change the side, so draw both knees towards the left side. Keep your arms in T position, palms facing upwards. If you want a little bit more of challenge, go ahead and look towards your right side, right hand. Come back to center. Today we're gonna take fish pose before Shavasana, just to open a little bit the chest, to kind of get rid of anything that does no longer serve you. In case you haven't done fish pose before, go ahead and straighten both of the legs. Place your hands underneath your palms, so straighten your arms too. And what we're gonna do from here is, on the inhale, we're gonna inhale, and on the exhale, we're gonna start lifting the chest. Maybe you wanna take a quick look to the screen. But basically, we're gonna lift through the chest and find a little bit of a back bend, so the kind of top of your head is in contact with the floor. So see if you can find a little bit of that. Very good. Back bend. And from here, on the exhale, I want you to open your mouth and do like this, like a lion breath. Stick your tongue out as well. And very gently come back to center. And find your Shavasana. So grab your blanket, cover yourself. Maybe take any items of clothing that you need. Straighten both of the legs. Feel tilting outwards. Go ahead and place the back of the hands on the mat, on the floor, palms facing upwards. And of course, go ahead and close your eyes. are bringing some life into your body. Start wiggling your fingers, your toes. Maybe move your head side to side. Bring your knees towards your chest, just for one more stretch. Very gently let yourself drop to either side of the mat. Make yourself like a little ball on the mat. And as usual, take a couple of breaths here. Use this moment to integrate to the rest of your day, probably your breakfast, probably some rest time. And once you're there, I want you to do something for yourself today. I want you to send unconditional love to your whole body, to your whole mind, to your whole heart, and to your whole self. Unconditional love. Very gently start making your way back to sitting. Keep your eyes closed if you can. Place your hands on top of your knees and notice the effects of your practice. How do you feel now? What do you feel now? Do you feel more content? Is your heart more open? Is your body full of love? Maybe you're a bit sore. So just make a quick note. Bring your hands to the heart center. Prayer position. You're gonna close the practice today with a quick So we're gonna inhale. Bring your hands to the point between your eyebrows. I thank you all for all your efforts, and I thank our bodies for serving as well. Namaste. Go ahead and open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you guys. Well done.